Hi everyone, I'm here with my little sister. Hi everyone, I'm here with my little sister again, and today we are going to be answering and going through some of your confessions and questions that you asked for, well, my advice on, but I thought it would be fun if my sister helped me get through some of these. I had 38 submissions in total. That's quite a lot to get through, so I hope you don't mind. Technically 39, but my sister submitted one and she was just taking the piss. Okay, so I've made a Google spreadsheet for these. Confession, question, I'm not sure what to call these. I'm just going to call them confessions for the sake of this video. Submission's better. Before we start this video, I would like to say one thing, which is that I'm going to answer to most of these in the same way that I would want people to give advice to me. I'm not one for the whole be gentle with yourself, take time to heal, understand your emotions. It doesn't work for me because those are very obvious things, at least to me. Anyone that submitted any of these questions or whatever, I hope you would already know to be gentle with yourself, blah blah blah. My outlook on the world is very factual. I appreciate when people give me realistic advice, and I am someone who naturally sees the humour in any situations. I think from my personal experience it's a great mindset to adopt, to be able to laugh at anything and everything that life throws at you. So keep that in mind. I do apologise if anyone finds the advice that I will give for these a bit too harsh. You don't have to listen to this. I think it's important to hear things for what they are. So that's the first and only thing really I'd like to say before we start.
I'd just like to add, I am only just about 19, so I'm speaking off of the very little experience that I have, but I'm going to do my best.
Teenagers aren't stupid. Teenagers, although they have slightly less life experience than adults, obviously, it doesn't make their advice any less valuable. I think it's important to listen to kids. It's important to listen to teenagers and young adults. They're just as much as part of life in this world as anyone else's. I've written some bullet points to get through these. There's a lot. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet, but I hope this is still useful advice to you guys. Our first submission comes from a 17-year-old girl who says, I love my mum and know she tries so hard, but she has so much trauma and sometimes I feel so trapped in my own home and I can't wait to move away to not feel so tense always. Understand that your parents' issues are not your responsibility to fix. Your parents brought you into this world. They should be taking care of you, and it should never be the other way around. I don't care what anyone says. This is an absolute non-negotiable. I won't accept it. Sorry. A lot of people aren't lucky enough to be brought into this world by parents who are well-rounded, who know how to control their own emotions. Regardless, it really sucks. Not your responsibility to fix her, so make sure you're not doing that. If your mum wants to be fixed, she should go see a professional who she can pay for their services. If you try to fix your mother long term, you will fuck yourself up so badly, and it's going to take a long time for you to bounce back from that. Second of all, understand that wanting to leave doesn't make you ungrateful. You are trying to survive. As a child, you should feel comforted and safe living under a roof with your mother. I'm sorry, that's not the case. Second, third, another piece of advice I'd like to give you is to use the stress and the tension you feel as fuel to start making a getaway not getaway as in run from home, please don't do that, god no. Start building some sort of plan for yourself, a career, whether you want to get into education, if you want to go into college or to university. Research some colleges that are a bit of a distance from your home, so you have an excuse to move out. Again, not sure if you live in America, in the UK, where you live. Find a job, find some sort of income, save every last penny. In an ideal world, you would be able to live for a longer amount of time under your roof, comfortably, while you figure life out. If that's not the case and you find yourself struggling to cope, this is the only other piece of actually helpful advice that I can give you, really. If it's that bad, start making a plan for yourself to build the life that you want, which is clearly far away from your mother. I do hope your mother heals, and I hope that she can be the parent that you need from her. So that's my advice to you.
So I'm gonna read the second one. I had a thing for a while with a girl. She was super on and off regarding being mean and kind. It ended because she was getting with another girl while entertaining me. She seemed to enjoy a chaotic lifestyle while I remained to myself and am more reserved. I still like her a lot and I don't know how to move past all of it. The trust issues, the memories of the good, the embarrassment of the bad. What do I do? So I'm gonna just go off what I'd say if I was having a conversation with one of my friends maybe or something. The first thing I do want to say is that in terms of moving past it and everything, I think the biggest thing is time. I don't think there's a way to just switch it off. I think time does heal, because it keeps moving, it passes, and I think time is a really big helper in all of this.
She liked drama, you liked peace, which meant you're simply incompatible. End of. There doesn't need to be some super deep explanation for it. That's just how life is. You're either compatible or you're incompatible with someone. That is something that will remain true for the rest of your life, no matter how many relationships you go through. That's just it. Missing someone who treated you like you were disposable, by the sounds of it, that's not. I could be wrong. I'm not inside your head, but that doesn't sound like you're missing her out of love. You're missing her out of the habit of the emotional roller coaster she put you through throughout your relationship. One last thing I would like to add is you are 17 years old, and when I was your age, it really pissed me off when people would make that exact same point to me. I felt like they were invalidating the intensity of emotions I would feel about certain situations. I wish I knew not to be so defensive when people would say to me oh, you're 17, you're so young, because it's true. At that age, everything feels like the entire world is burning, and everything you experience just feels so extremely intense, which is natural because it's the first time you're experiencing a lot of these big milestones. First relationship, first love, first heartbreak, this and that. It feels crazy, but please just understand that these emotions you feel, you are a child, you're so young, you have your entire life ahead of you. There will be so many more heartbreaks, so many more love stories. That's just life. That's what comes with existing. Just know that time will pass, and one day you will look back at this memory and have a completely different perspective on it. And I hope that's going to include you realising that whoever it was that you were with took you for a bit of a mug. So, chin up though, girl. Please spend some time with your friends. Keep yourself busy. This will pass. Another 17-year-old girl. She writes, after my best friend moved schools, she's moved on to bigger and better things, it seems. We rarely see each other, and when we do, we're so different now. I always see her on Insta, her going out with friends and going to parties, and I'm staying home studying. I don't even want to go out because I hate parties, but I still get FOMO and wish we could go back to being friends the way we used to. I feel like such a drag, constantly asking to talk and sort things out when it feels like she'd prefer to be doing carefree stuff. Are our lifestyles just that different that we shouldn't be friends, or do I keep trying? She still hangs out with other of our mutual friends that left school, but not me, it seems. Help. There's nothing that I can say to make this situation hurt less. I think when platonic friendships end, it can be just as devastating and hurtful as when romantic relationships end. Especially since you're 17, I'm gonna assume that this is probably a friend that you've had for a long time, a friend that you've grown up with. Sometimes friendships do just end. I think if you're saying that she hangs out with other mutual friends and she leaves you out, then I don't think there's much left in this friendship for you. It doesn't mean you have to go extreme and block her and pretend you were never friends. But I would just say, for your own peace of mind, yes, it's gonna suck. Don't reach out for her for the time being, for her, to her, for the time being. See how many days, weeks, or months it takes for her to get back to you. I think after that you'll have your answer. It will give you a few weeks or months to have distance from her. You won't be thinking about her as much eventually. And if even after all that time she doesn't feel your absence or miss your presence enough to reach out to you, I think you have your answer. It doesn't mean she's a horrible person, it's just, again, young. We all have so much maturing and growing up to do at that age. I still do today. I feel like I know less about the world than I thought I did at your age. You sound like someone who really cares deeply about her friendships. I think it's a wonderful trait to have. You should be in a circle of people who appreciate that. I would just hate for this to eat away at your energy more than it should. I don't want to say more than it should, because we all feel emotions all the time. These situations sucks. There's no positive spin on this. Maybe one day in the future, if she does eventually come back to you, maybe it would have, like, an amount of time would have passed when you realise that actually you don't really miss her presence in your life as much as you think you would. So yeah, I don't really know if that's very helpful advice, but you're not alone in this. You're really not. And one day you will find a friendship so fulfilling. It will be like you literally found another sibling on this earth, you know?
I think, especially like once you leave school and stuff as well, like you realise that there's like so many people to meet, and you're gonna meet like so many like different new people. And like my sister said, I think there's like a lot of good things to come, especially because you value friendship like you clearly do. This is from a woman who's 26, and it's regarding romantic relationships. I got low-key rejected by my crush because he ghosted me. I know it's nothing personal, but it still gets to me. We still follow each other on Insta and I want to remove him, but something inside of me is still holding me back from doing so. I guess because I want to show him what he's missing. but in reality he couldn't care less, and I know this. I don't know if my advice is gonna be a little bit harsh sounding. I think that this whole idea of like showing him what he's missing, we all think it, we all did it once upon a time, like it's a normal thing, especially with social media, to want to do. But what I am gonna say is it's like, it does like chip away at your energy, and maybe even if you like posting on social media or something like that, it like takes the fun out of it, kind of, because most of your thought process before you post anything is going to be like, oh, he's going to see it or something like that. But it's supposed to be something that's fun, so you can show your friends, so you can, I don't know, meet some people like on friends, whatever, on Instagram, whatever. It's just like, it takes the fun out of it, I would think, and you'll just feel so much better if you like take the weight off your chest, where you're like, okay, just stop kind of thinking like, what, like, let him see that, blah, blah, blah. And maybe removing him would help with that, because they were just like, okay, that's done.
And social media is not reality. The only thing that matters is the person that will show up to your door with flowers, and who will treat you right, and who will make an effort, and who will make memories with you, and will never hesitate to do so. By dwelling on him, like the fantasy of him you built in your head that doesn't match reality, you're in your own way. You are standing in your own way, and you are blocking yourself from opening up space for the person who should be in his position. You know? But then at the same time, if you want to show him what he's missing, go for it. If you want to just listen, if you want to just carry on hurting your own feelings, that's fine. We've all been there, we all do it, we all know exactly what outcome is going to have, but you just have to do it. Hurting our own feelings is also a form of closure. It's a stupid form of closure, but I guess it works. So don't listen to us if you want to, you know?
Yeah.
Next one. Our next submission comes from a 21-year-old girl, and she says, so I'm at uni, and so far I haven't been able to make any friends. Any advice on how to get out there would be greatly appreciated. I'm gonna give one piece of advice that doesn't have to be specific to this situation, but to anyone struggling to make friends, really. The fact is, nobody owes you friendship. You do have to make an effort. Say yes to things you would usually avoid. Awkwardness is a very temporary feeling. Talk to people in your class. Immediately you have something in common. You're taking the same class, you probably have the same interests. Ask stupid questions, because at the end of the day, everyone is lonely. Everyone is lonely. It would be nice to just effortlessly make friends, have people come up to you. The truth is, most people are probably waiting for you to do the exact same thing. And also just remember that if you're able to make one good friend, is more valuable than anything, than having multiple friends. I never had the uni experience, so don't think I would be able to give you a lot of good advice specific to that, but join like activity clubs. Try and make, if you go to the gym, try and make friends at the gym. Compliment other girls on like outfits they're wearing, compliment them on their like physique, ask for their like workouts, this and that, you know, simple things like that. If you're ever in a space where you think someone could have anything in common with you, whether it's your interests, what you're studying, friendship takes effort to make, and they take even more effort to maintain. You might make your like realist bestest friend not at uni, and you might find the best friend of your entire life also way later on in life, in situations where you wouldn't expect to. No rule book to life. I don't know what else you'd like to say.
The only thing that I'd like to say is that I think my sister's advice is good, and I think the sooner you take it and the sooner you like fake confidence and just go up to someone, it's scary. It's scary for a lot of people. But the sooner you just like pluck up the courage to do it, the better you are gonna be for it for like the rest of your life essentially, because you're 21 now, you're at uni. After studying, you may want to get internships, jobs, whatever your career path will be, and you're gonna continuously be in a situation where you need new friends. You might move somewhere else, anything like that. Like, life changes, life moves, and I think the sooner that you kind of master the skill at just being able to go up to a stranger and be like, hey, blah blah, I think it will really help you in the long run of things. I think it's a good skill to like try to have and master. So like, just it'll probably get less scarier every single time that you try it. This one is from a 25-year-old female. Sorry. 25-year-old woman. Sorry. I have maybe 2/3 friends that I talk to here and there, but not a best friend or a group of friends I can call my besties. How do I stop feeling so embarrassed about the fact that I barely leave the house, and if I go out anywhere, it's literally just with my dad? I'm more concerned because I'm starting to date, and I just feel like guys will almost judge me for the fact that I have 0 friends and hang out with my dad if I leave the house, which is rare. You have nothing to be embarrassed about at all. Like, I think get that out of your mind, because there's nothing embarrassing about that. It's actually really amazing to have a relationship with your dad like that. I think to be able to like hang out with him,
right?
And
Such a blessing.
yeah, such a blessing to have a relationship with your dad like
That's
that.
such a privilege.
Yeah,
Honestly,
like take
please
it from
never take that for granted.
take it from that perspective. Kind of going off of what we said last time, like, friends will come if you really like maybe want to meet some new people. Also try learn how to speak to people randomly, people with similar interests, if you're in a class or whatever, or job or anything like that. Also, if a guy would judge you for something like that, is that really the kind of guy you want to be with or end up with? Because
straight away, that's a perfect filter for dating.
Because if you have to be embarrassed about any single part of yourself with someone you're dating, it's just not gonna be for you. I'm speaking so loud.
It's fine.
It's just not gonna be for you because of the fact that you can't be yourself.
When you wrote this, you did say, I'm more concerned because you're starting to date and you don't want to be judged. So I don't know if you feel like not content with the amount of friends you have. That's a different thing in itself. But if your main concern is just a fear of being judged for not leaving your house and having a good relationship with your dad, babe, please don't. I barely leave my house. I don't go clubbing, don't drink, don't go out. Not my thing. I also love hanging out with my parents. I love it. I would pick going out to get a coffee with my mum or my dad over anyone any day. And just like, fuck me, if a man wants to judge you for your relationship with your dad, like I said, such an easy and perfect filter for dating. If anyone judges you for that, you know that it's not someone you should continue to have any sort of communication or relationship with. So our next one is from a 27-year-old guy who says, I feel like I'm not where I want to be in my life. I'm 27, I haven't got a clear career path I'm headed towards. I'm in somewhat of a limbo that I can't seem to get out of, and I'm wondering if it's too late for me or if I still have time to figure it all out.
Whose timeline are you running on? Whose time, like, where's... Everyone has a different path, and that's something that, like, especially people who maybe aren't going down the traditional path or don't know their career from the age of like 12 as schools expect us to.
There is no better time in your life to be in limbo. If it's not now, I don't know your context. If you don't have kids, you don't have a mortgage, you're not legally or financially tied to something big. Fuck yeah, like, it's not too late. You have all the time in the world. We live in a different world. We live in a world now where it's acceptable to change your career in your late 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s.
This like narrative that after you, I don't know, hit a certain age, like you're supposed to be married, have kids, like it's just not true. Just enjoy it and know that you have the power to make choices about your own life. It's in your hands. If you decide you want to do something, figure out how to make it happen. If you don't know what you want to do, just try out as much as you can. Or even if you do have kids and mortgage, figure out how to do it. Figure out how to enjoy it.
Like in real life, let's admit it's much harder to do so, but not impossible. So if now at 27 you're wondering if you have time to figure it all out, what does figure it all out even mean? What do you mean by that? Do you mean settling down, having a family? Like, what do you mean by that? The only thing you should be concerned with is, do you wake up in the morning and have a will to live? Do you have something to look forward to?
Even if you don't, if you wake up one morning and you're like, I don't have anything to look forward to, find something. There will be something out there for you to look forward to. Sometimes you just have to go find it.
Chin up, mate. Billions of people before you have felt the same way. Billions of people will continue to feel the same way after you. This is just something that comes with life. If you do happen to figure out the answer, please let me know.
Me too.
Good luck with everything, by the way.
So the next one is from a 28-year-old woman. Woman sounds so rude, right? Woman.
Should we just say babe for women?
Yeah, it sounds less like
28-year-old babe.
This is from a 28-year-old babe. She said, I'm not really asking for advice. I guess I just wanted to type it and tell someone. Maybe the hopeful tone of it all will be cozy. The past few weeks I felt a bit of a shift in myself and finding myself doing things I would never do, even though nothing has prompted this in any way. I just woke up one day and said, now I'm doing, and I saw her on your channel.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing shit. Asking someone to even get out of my seat on the train. Oh my god, I skipped a line. Fuck. And small things like asking a stranger the time, bitching about a long queue to the person in front of me, or asking someone to get out of my seat on the train. I started going to appointments on my own, wandering off to find a shop I want to see even if my friends don't. Taking myself to brunch and meals. I've been crippled by my mental health my entire life and it's taken me till 28 to get to this point. But maybe it'll make someone younger than me feel just a bit brighter and more hopeful for the future. This world is never as bleak as you may think, I promise. I think this is a lovely, honestly, round of applause.
Well done.
Literally well fucking done. I think from like what we've read so far, I think it could really help some of the younger and even people the same age as you feel like a lot better.
We should all take up some space in this world, so I'm happy that you found your space. So again, well done. Keep doing what you're doing. It's clearly working.
Biggest congratulations. One, let's do snaps. Every time me and my sister do something good, we don't clap, we say snaps, and then we snap our fingers. I don't even want to move on. That's just biggest congrats. Sorry, you go.
Our next one comes from a 20-year-old babe who says, lately I've struggled with not being very sure of myself. I feel like I'm always just going along with what other people say, and I don't know what my true opinions are on anything. Any advice on knowing and expressing yourself better? Read anything and everything. Books, articles, watch documentaries. Be involved in the earth that you are on. Do you know what I mean? Try to get your knowledge and information from unbiased sources. Ground news.
Oh my god. Best app.
Ground news.
Best app.
That is one thing that when I see YouTubers be like, today's video is sponsored by Ground News, I love to see it. And sometimes it's okay not to form some sort of strong, decisive opinion on something. We process so much information in today's world. I don't think our brains were designed to process the amount of information we do. And I think it's a very attractive quality to be knowledgeable. To not think that like politics or history or current world events don't involve you, they involve all of us. So be proactive with how much you learn about the world, and I think your opinions will form naturally.
One thing you have to remember is like, first of all, you do not need to have an opinion about everything, like my sister said. And it's also, sometimes it's okay not to know about certain things, and for someone to maybe teach you about it. Obviously, like, try do most of the research yourself so you're not getting like a biased opinion. But sometimes it's okay to be like, oh, I actually haven't like read about that yet, or like I'm not too sure about that yet. It's okay to not know everything, but I do think it's like my sister said, like, being knowledgeable is a very attractive quality. And I think to like educate yourself on whatever, reading a book, reading the classics, reading psychology, literature, anything, history.
You don't need to know all of your opinions. Start by disagreeing with someone out loud if you want to practice expressing yourselves. It's also natural to be scared of conflict, to be scared of upsetting people that might disagree with us. That's fine, as long as you're not being a bigger. Authenticity is a muscle. Use it or lose it.
I'm working on reading more as well right now, so you're not alone. Yeah, I'm doing something quite similar to you are, so you're not like alone in this. Okay. The next one is from a 22-year-old babe. I think my sister might be more helpful on this one, but I'll do my best. Very bit of a long one. I didn't say that, by the way. I just want to make it clear I'm not the one. Like, I didn't. Yeah, sorry.
You just missed that straw.
I'm in a super healthy relationship for the first time, and I know I'm young, but I feel like it's a when you know situation. My boyfriend is 2 years older than me and genuinely feels like I wrote my perfect man on paper and he spawned. We've been together for about 8 months and it's the easiest thing I've ever done. He's literally my best friend. Sorry, a bit sappy and cringe, but because I'm so invested in our relationship, I often get overwhelming fears of what would happen if we broke up, and find myself filled with anxiety if he talks to me in a different tone or texts in a short manner when he's busy at work and can't help. Fear he's withdrawing, he never is. Also, that we are so young, I feel almost judged / embarrassed by work colleagues and older friends and family when I say I couldn't ever see myself being with anyone else. Do you have any advice on accepting the love that you worked really hard for and continue to work hard to foster? And also commentary about being young, 22, while genuinely feeling like I could spend the rest of my life with this person. I'm gonna say some things and you say something. Okay. I'm gonna speak on the parts that I feel like I could be most helpful with, but I'm gonna let my sister take the reins on this one in a second. So the only thing I'd say about the bit where it's like I get overwhelming fears of what would happen if we broke up or stuff like that, I'm gonna tell you what my mom told me when I said something very similar. She just straight up said to me, she was like, you're just ruining it for yourself. Like, it's taking time. Wait, let me restart. No, fuck that. I can't give advice on this. Can we scrap everything I've said? Just scrap. No advice to give. Wait.
I am also 22 years old, and I am in a very similar position to you. I am currently in my first and only real relationship, not in your relationship. Other people are, if like, what are you doing? Other people aren't in your relationship. Other people are not going to be the ones that are going to be wiping your ass when you are a 90-year-old. It's okay to say. Can't say the word. Other people aren't going to be the ones that are going to be wiping your ass when you are 80 and can't do anything with your hands and you can barely feed yourself. Other people aren't going to be there when you're going to need someone to hold your hand when you're giving birth. Other people aren't going to be the ones that are going to be waiting for you at the end of the aisle when you get married. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I'm sure you do. Your relationship is between two people. You don't have to explain anything. Unless you're watching this and you're into people that are way too young for you. The only people you should explain anything to is the vets.
Sorry, I have something to add here. My sister is your age, and for context, I've never looked at her or her boyfriend like weirdly anything. When they say that, like, they say they feel how you feel, in the sense of like feeling like you found your best friend, like your person, like sister was too young or anything like that. Like, I actually really respect their relationship and everything like that. So I would not even look twice or like blink weirdly if you were telling this to me, genuinely.
The only reason you would ever have to judge someone in a happy relationship is because you wish you were in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other explanation for it. Aside from that, I just like to say anxious attachment will ruin a good relationship faster than anything else. If you can identify that, there are people you can speak to about it. I wouldn't want you to sabotage yourself in something that clearly brings you a lot of joy. I wish the best for you too. And yeah.
I'm gonna read the next one. This is from a 19-year-old babe. I'm currently a sophomore at university, majoring in art. I decided to go to college in my home state because of cost and proximity to home. But two things have been on my mind recently. One, I have a feeling like I'm running out of time. I can't necessarily say exactly why, but mostly because I feel like college is going by super fast and I don't know what I'm gonna do after I graduate. Two, I feel like I'm missing out on something by staying in my home state. I don't know exactly where I want to go and for how long, but I long for a new and exciting experience in a city. I'm scared to take that step, mostly because of money and my anxiety, but I don't want to regret not doing new things and scary things in my future. I feel like a lot of young people feel like time is going by really fast. I think you've said that to me before. You felt like 18, 19, 20 just went by really quickly for you. I don't want to like take away from the feeling, but I do think a lot of people feel that. I don't think that you're alone in that feeling, and I think all you can do is like do your best to stay out of your head and enjoy it, and maybe try to, when your brain's trying to focus on how fast everything is like going by, to maybe like just try to like put yourself in the moment as much as you can. In terms of like traveling and stuff like that, I think it will come in the years to come. In terms of money, at 19 it's always good to have a side job if you can, if that's possible. I know a lot of my friends who are in uni, most of them do have side jobs, bartending, chef. Obviously I don't know how demanding your schedule of classes is at universities, because it differs for everyone. Some of my friends have really like relaxed, I want to say, like amount of classes a week. But in terms of that, if traveling is something that you really want to do, I definitely recommend getting like a side job if that's possible. And I think traveling is really good for a young person to do. I think it's great for not only just like your independence, your self-confidence, like that side of things, but also to explore a new place, meet new people, put yourself in new situations, new cultures, new experiences. I think traveling is a really, really good thing to do. And I know like a lot of other people who are also 19 have like spoken about it. Like loads of my friends are doing trips this summer by themselves with new groups of people. I definitely think it's something you should do, whether you go by yourself or with other people. I think forcing yourself to go in that situation, and if you do suffer from anxiety about something like this, is part of what you like get anxious about. I think that maybe the first time finding stuff that makes you more comfortable, maybe if you travel somewhere where you have a friend or you know someone else, that could really help, I feel like. Or going somewhere a bit closer and maybe a little bit less expensive for the first time, so you can kind of dip your toes in the water, figure it out, and then you can go into bigger things, build it up, figure it out, so you can enjoy all of your experiences. Do you have anything to add?
I think you did a fantastic job. You can look at it from the perspective of staying in your home state. Doesn't mean that, like, it doesn't have to mean you've missed out on something. You can look at it from the perspective of you made a very smart financial decision.
Mm-hmm.
There's pros and cons to everything in this life. You can move to a new city whenever you want to, whenever you're ready to. countries and cities aren't going away anytime soon.
And I feel like especially if you do suffer from anxiety, then maybe it was actually a really smart decision for you to be able to complete your degree to the best of your ability, to have stayed at home, and you probably made a really good decision for yourself, career and like degree wise.
Bitch, I couldn't even get through uni. I couldn't even start it. I didn't want to go. So fucking, you're doing better than me, girl.
You're doing really good. Just remember that you're doing a really good job.
This comes from another 18-year-old babe, and she said, "Is it weird to be 18 and never have dated anyone? Like nothing. No situationships or talking stage or anything. I've never really even had a crush on anyone, and I just feel like everyone else is in a relationship already. I haven't even had my first kiss yet. First of all, there's no award that's going to be given to the fastest person to get a first kiss or a first relationship or anything. That's not a thing. Never change. Please never change. Keep yourself protected for as long as possible. Not having crushes or relationship just means you've dodged years of emotional whiplash. Good for you. You are quite literally still a baby in terms of your entire life. Never change that you have your entire life ahead of you to have these very intense emotional and physical experiences. And I think it will be much more meaningful if you get to experience them at a point where you have emotional maturity. And please God, I'm so happy for you. When I read this, I was so happy. Good for you.
You're not forcing anything in the sense of like you don't have a crush, and you're not gonna force yourself to be with someone or to like someone just to say, okay, I've had a boyfriend, had a relationship, ticked off the box. Do you know what I mean? Because if you do pick the wrong person, you can end up really regretting that somehow someday, because these are like, I guess, the turning points or like the pivot points of your life. You're making the right decision in the sense of you're not picking the wrong person just to tick off a box and then ruining some of the most important years of your life. Or if you're not compatible with someone, that's not going to be an enjoyable time. It's just gonna stress you out. You're not missing out on anything. You're actually just
You're in a much better position
than trying
Good
to
for
tick
you.
off a box. Yeah, good for you. So this comes from a 13-year-old. What are we calling
13th. What should we call men?
man babe?
Yeah, man babes. Okay.
I'm a 30-year-old man babe. My family never contacts me unless they need a favor. It's disappointing because I always cave in and help them because I know that's the only way I would get to see them. What would you do in this situation? I don't like confrontation, so I don't know if I could talk to them about it. It might make things worse. Thanks. Love your videos.
First of all, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you here. Man babe.
I think the biggest thing...
No, wait, that sounded like I was taking the piss. I really appreciate your support. Thank you. And thank you for sharing this for us, with us. I was actually hoping to get submissions from like man babes in this because men talking about their feelings is very important. It's something that I absolutely encourage. So thank you.
Boundaries is really important for you, like being able to set them, because you're not just supposed to be there when someone needs you. That is, you're not there for a job. They're your family. It's like you really need set boundaries, and I know you don't like confrontation, so I wouldn't say boundaries are very confrontational. You're just saying a point that this is just not something you want to do or not something you can do.
Also, it depends, because if you come from ethnic families or like foreign families, then yeah, boundaries are considered confrontation.
Regardless, it's just like, unfortunately, usually when you do set boundaries, people who do sometimes, I don't want to say take advantage, but people who are used to getting favors from you or used to you doing stuff for them, anytime they ask, they are going to have a bit of a reaction. They're going to be like, wait, why is this person not doing essentially what they've always kind of done?
But it's more important that you can look into the mirror and know that like you have self-respect and you have dignity. You're not emotional and financial support for your family. You're
And
just not.
you weren't brought on this earth just to help them with every single favor. You are your own person. You have your own life. You have your own goals. You have your own everything. Like, it's not ever supposed to be like that. And I necessarily personally don't think they should be relying on you this much.
I know you mentioned that you don't like confrontation, which is fine. So you've got two options. You either carry on what you're doing forever, if that works for you. If you can deal with the emotional pain it brings, go for it. Or then, yeah, you go through a very uncomfortable experience, an uncomfortable period where you will have to confront your family about the reality of the situation, how it makes you feel. There's nothing that will make that less uncomfortable than it is going to be. The most you can do is prepare yourself for that. Let them sit with that silence. You're not someone's savior. You're a whole being, you're a whole individual. You should be spending that money on yourself.
Essentially just calmly express that maybe you'd like them to hang out with you without asking you for a favor all of the time. It seems, especially from what you said, like you do really love your family and you do want to see them and spend time with them. So I definitely bring it up.
We believe in you. Okay. Next one comes from a 28-year-old man babe who says, I graduated last year. Good grades and good degree, or so everyone said. Still, I can't find a job. I see my peers having jobs in their field and I feel so behind. I feel like a failure. Sometimes I wish I could fall asleep. It sounds like you could seriously benefit from some
Therapy.
Psychological help.
Also, quickly, before we even get onto the job thing, you are calling yourself a failure and you have a whole degree and good grades. How can you put those two in the same sentence? You have had a whole degree and good grades. You cannot put that in the same sentence as failure. If you feel like you're not being able to find a job right now, it's redirection for your life. There is so many opportunities out there, and just because you might not have one right now, it can feel like everything's caving in and everything's stressful and you're running out of time. It can feel overwhelming. Just stop your brain in that thought process. You clearly seem like you're a very intelligent individual, and you probably have so much going for you that you can't even see because your brain is like so, I guess, maybe caught up in this process or this cycle. Take all of that pressure away and you will see that you are not a failure. It's all of this pressure that you're putting on yourself, all of these expectations that you're putting on yourself that are making you feel like you are one when in reality you're not. And I don't think anyone should ever feel like they could wish that they could fall asleep and never wake up. I do think that maybe you would benefit from maybe talking to someone. You should never ever feel that way. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna...
I would like to say, fact number one, at the end of the day, degrees don't guarantee jobs. I think that's something that's becoming more and more apparent. If you are struggling to find a job through the conventional way of applying on job posts and LinkedIn and all that, and it's not working, the most important thing you can do is absolutely network the shit out of your life. And I mean, find your way into like online groups, LinkedIn groups, follow a lot of
cold
people,
emailing,
cold calling, and fucking you bang on those doors until
force
they come
yourself
crashing down.
Yeah, force yourself into those rooms.
No one's gonna invite you in. You have to force yourself in, and you will have to prove yourself at the end of the day.
At the same time, that's why it's so important for yourself to not see yourself as a failure, because you unfortunately have to believe in yourself. No one's gonna come and save you. I know that's such a cliche thing to say, but it's the truth. And it's like, you have to believe in yourself, because if you're going to push yourself into those rooms or those groups or those opportunities, you have to be able to stand up for yourself and back yourself, and like my sister said, essentially prove yourself as well.
attending talks and conferences that are relative to your field. That's a perfect place to network and to find opportunities.
There's a website called like Eventbrite. I don't know how good it is because I've never been, but there is a lot of like talks and stuff where professionals do go, and it's a great opportunity for networking as well, I'd say.
Whoever it was that wrote that, I would love for you to send me a message if you want. You don't have to. If you would like to talk to someone about anything about this, anything else, my Instagram will be in the description of this video. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's very brave to be that vulnerable, so thank you.
I'm gonna read the next one. Hi lovely, I have to pick out university soon, and for the longest time I didn't know what I want to do, but right now I feel like I do. I want to go into sports management, but I'm scared of what my family will say, because I live in a country where if you don't study medicine or law, you'll work at the gas station. That's what most people think. So I don't know if I should go for that or maybe pick something safer, because I'm scared if I pick this and it doesn't work out, I don't find a job. I'm scared what my parents will say. Thank you so much for your answer. I love your video so much.
Oh, babe, you are only 17 and there's standard that you are supposed to know what you want to go into at 17 is fucking bonkers. Second of all, I also come from a country where I am considered to be a complete and utter failure. Big up Slovakia. I chose to not to go to uni. I don't actually have anything useful. Maybe if I was born like 1,000 years ago, things would be great, because I'm really good at drawing, very good at painting. Maybe back then I would be considered to be successful and have some useful skills. I know people judge me back home because I choose to pursue a creative career path with no real direction, and I make fucking ASMR videos on YouTube. I don't give a fuck, it's my life. You were blessed enough to be given this life. You better live it for no one apart from yourself.
Think very carefully about getting into medicine or law, because they are long degrees that require really hard work, and after that hard work to then decide that you don't want to do that or not go to that career, it's like go for whatever you are passionate about. Something like medicine and law, the best lawyers or the best doctors are the ones who care and the ones who have passion about it. Think very carefully about doing it for someone else and not for yourself.
If you're going to put yourself through that, it might as well be something you love, otherwise you will end up so depressed.
Yeah.
And you will feel so empty. Having a safety net of a career you think is the right one to do, the proper one to do, it feels smart and it's great until you're stuck under that safety net. But bless you, baby, you're so young. You shouldn't be in a position right now to pick what you want to do for the rest of your entire long and healthy life.
If you need to take a gap year or two or whatever you need, just take your time.
I cannot recommend gap years. Okay, more than I do.
Oh, wait, do you say cannot or?
I worded that so badly. What did I say?
I cannot recommend. She's saying you should do them.
Absolutely do them. Absolutely do them. Our next one comes from a 21-year-old babe who says, well, first I wanted to let you know that I love your voice, how you do ASMR, and that I immediately fell in love with your channel. Bless you. Thank you. I love that you're here, and I love that you took the time to submit something. She continues, with this being said, I wanted to talk about mental health because it's been a battle of mine for years, and although I'm getting much better, there are periods of time when I get a bit sad again, and I'm afraid it's always going to be like that. Like I can function, but I have a lot of ups and downs. So I feel like I'm looking at my life from the outside and not fully living it. I don't know if I made sense, but what are your thoughts regarding this? I don't know if this is what I was supposed to say, but well, there it goes. He. Again, much love from BCN. I don't know what BCN is, but it's I was gonna say Barcelona, but actually it's Barcelona. No, I don't know what BCN is. Okay. Much love from London, I guess. I would like to say
thank you for sharing, first of all.
okay. Fucking hell, yeah, thank you for sharing. What you said absolutely made sense. There is no nothing that I can really say here that's gonna be exactly groundbreaking, but that it sucks, but the reality is that is absolutely a part of life. That is how it is. That's how it's always been. That's how it will continue to be. Life is filled with ups and downs. If you are someone who feels more extreme ups and downs, and I mean extreme, like you go through periods of complete euphoria and very deep depression in short periods of time, I would recommend speaking to a doctor about that. If you are just alluding to regular schmegular ups and downs, very normal. Every single one of us goes through it. First piece of advice, anyone that's going through this, please try and find a professional to speak to. If you feel like this is bringing down your quality of life, speaking to a doctor or a counsellor I think would be great help. As for day-to-day coping mechanisms, I think it's so important to be someone that finds the humour in everything, to be able to laugh even at some of like the most painful things that this life can throw at you will be your saving grace.
Apart from like the basic cliche advice that everyone gives, is like the one thing I've learned a lot is like everyone has it differently, like their struggles, and everyone's brains work really differently and function differently, think differently. So having maybe someone to talk to who will seriously take the time to understand, like a professional, how your brain works and how to actually help you could be really beneficial.
Try and keep your head up, learn to laugh and embrace the absurdity of life.
This is from a 24-year-old babe. I've been doing ASMR for a few years now and I love it. I'm currently unemployed and I'm having a rough time, so I was thinking I should do ASMR full time. But the thing is, my channel hasn't hit any milestones ever, and I'm scared I will start to hate it like I always hated every hobby of mine I start. But it's the one I have loved doing the most. I just wanted to see what kind of advice would you tell fellow ASMR artists, or some tips and tricks on how to grow your channel. I love your channel and your whisper is amazing, especially the Slovak ones. Fellow Eastern European. I'm gonna let my sister take the reins on this one. The only thing I'm gonna say is, when it comes to hobbies that you love, it's normal at one point that they can become frustrating if you don't see any progress or anything. But I think it really will help build your character as a person and your personal, I don't know, discipline, or like I can't think of the word that I'm trying to say. But yeah, I think it could be really, really good for your character as a person to push through something. I think it's really good for you. So definitely try to stick with it if it's something that you are passionate about.
Advice. I don't really have many tips and tricks, just because I completely freeballed this entire thing. Yeah.
I think one thing that could really help, definitely, that I see with my sister is she's really authentic with the way she's on her channel. I feel like being yourself and showing yourself and all of your uniqueness is something that could really help, because you're being original, I guess, in a sense, and that's something that I see my sister do a lot. She's very, very much authentic.
See, he's such a flair.
Her authentic, original self. Like, she doesn't do anything any differently.
Yeah, you basically took what I was going to say. ASMR is a very saturated niche on YouTube. You could try and do the thing that everyone else is doing, in terms of the way people do their thumbnails, the way people title their videos, the way they record. Go for it, it might work for you. I just do this for shits and giggles, really. I enjoyed doing it. I also thought I was going to start hating it after a few weeks, and I didn't. You will never know until you try. No one's going to give you those answers. You might hate it. So what? Then you hate it. Find something else to do. You know, there is an abundance of things out there and hobbies to pick up and explore.
Just don't regret not trying it. Just give it all.
And don't think about milestones. When you sit in front of a camera and you do these videos, just do it because, I don't know, it relaxes you. It adds a bit of structure to your week. I just do this for fun. That's all. Our next submission comes from a 24-year-old man babe who says, I got rejected by my colleague, yet I have to see her every day. There is only one disc between us. I'm going to give you one piece of advice which I think will actually help you get through this. Pretend that your life is an episode of The Office. I'm not going to say any more. I think that's all you need to know.
It's not like, I know it might feel like it, but it's not the deepest thing in the world. Like,
it's a stupid and a very funny situation to find yourself in.
Giggle about it.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Someone will come along.
Next one comes from a 23-year-old man babe. A while ago, I admitted to my girl best friend that in love with her, basically our whole friendship. Ironically, we made a promise to each other to get married if we were single by 13, lol. She actually told me that she felt the same. I stupidly waited for her to move away to tell her, so we never really gave an actual relationship a chance. As time went on, she get with someone else, so did I at the time. So we basically said we'll always be in love with each other now. It's kind of weird. How do I move on with that? Always in my mind.
The time will pass.
Yes.
The feelings will fade.
But I definitely think it is something that maybe you should move on. Like, I'm not saying in the future, never ever, but for the time being, do your best to just let time do its thing, because you could miss out on meeting someone really, really cool, or miss out on certain things. It's just like
someone who will just wow you so much that you will forget about these feelings. Maybe not forget, but they won't feel the same way they do now. And just one thing I'd like to say, please, for your sake and for the sake of whoever it would be, do not get yourself into another relationship anytime soon to try and get over this. It's not fair on yourself, and it most definitely isn't fair on the person that you would be dating. That would just be another mess in itself. Don't put yourself and another innocent human being through that. Do you know what I mean? Sorry it didn't work out timing wise.
But like, sometimes one thing I need to remind myself, okay, take this with like the biggest pinch of salt. I don't know the whole context of your relationship, friendship, any of it. I like take this with the biggest pinch of salt. But like, sometimes my sister reminded me, like, if something was really, really hard and it was like always making me like, I don't know, upset or something, blah blah, sometimes just take a step back and be like, should it hurt this much? Like, should it really be this hard?
So I was gonna say, is long distance an option, but you did mention she got with someone else. Again, this is just one of those life experiences that you cannot avoid. You cannot avoid heartbreak forever. It's a part of living. It means you're alive.
Yeah.
Congrats. This one comes from another 18-year-old babe who says, I'm dating this guy and we've been together almost a year, except the relationship is very emotionally draining, and I'd say emotionally to an extent. I have tried to leave him multiple times and he always guilt trips me into staying. Genuinely don't know what to do, because I do love him, but I know I need to leave him for my own mental health. I've tried expressing this to him and he said I was being selfish. Yeah, so not a very diva situation, and I also understand that it's probably very hard to give advice on other than just leave him, but thought I'd put it here anyways. You are absolutely right in that, my friend. And the most important piece of advice I can give you is to part ways ASAP. Go on.
Yeah. So the only like quickest piece of advice I give is, next time that you like very, very soon, hopefully you get ready to leave him, is that the longer you are in this, the longer you are causing damage to yourself and your mental health and potentially certain opportunities that could come up in your life. Second of all, like, from what you tell me, it's very clear that you can see that he's manipulating you. So don't, like, choose your battles. Let him say whatever he needs to say, as long as remind yourself, you know in yourself you're not being selfish. You know that you're right in how you feel and you're right in leaving him, and just do it. You can't always win. I don't know if you agree with me in how you essentially leave someone, even though you're trying to do it amicably. Sometimes you just...
I want to say this from the perspective of someone who has been in your position. I'm not going to call it a relationship because that's an insult to the word relationship. I was in a situation that left me feeling less than a human. It was a situation that destroyed my entire sense of self-worth. This is a conversation for another time, maybe far off into the distant future. There's two things I'm going to tell you. If you are in a relationship that is, you will also in turn start to pick up behaviours that are not okay. I was in a situation where this other person made me feel like I wouldn't be able to survive without them, and that I don't deserve anything better than what they were doing to me. After a while you start to believe that, and your entire sense of self, your entire sense of survival and self-worth starts to depend on this person. And any time you feel like they are slipping away from you, you panic, you behave in ways that are unlike you, and I could talk about this for so long. My point is, if you stay in an abusive relationship, you are also fucking up your own behaviour patterns. You will become a version of yourself you don't recognise, and you are still so young. Your brain is still so fragile. Please do not put yourselves through this. This is not someone you're raising kids with. This is not someone you have legal ties to, that you are under no obligation to be around this person. I'm not saying that if you do have kids and that you have legal bindings to someone, that you shouldn't leave. You should absolutely leave. I'm just saying, in the context of you are 18, there is no reason for you to be putting yourself through this. The second most important thing I'd like to tell you, if they can verbally abuse you, they can hit you, and if they can hit you, they can kill you. Long term, down the road. I am being so serious, where I wish I could, I swear to God, I would be out of my 17, 18-year-old self, 19-year-old self, and ask her why she's being so fucking stupid. I paid the fucking price for it, and I'm still paying the price for it today. In all seriousness, please leave.
Thank you for sharing that with us. As from a 17-year-old babe, how to stop comparing yourself to others. This is gonna sound harsh, but sometimes me and my sister have spoken about this. Sometimes there's not always like a way or like a method of doing things. Sometimes you just have to catch yourself in the moment and just say, stop, enough. Figure out what it is. The reason you compare yourself to others is because you're insecure about something. Figure out what you're insecure about and find out how to deal with it, how to fix it, and how to build your... Fix it's wrong. No. Like, fix your view on yourself about that and be more confident.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a method to this one, essentially.
I have actually spoken on this topic before, and if you go to my video that's titled "This Video is a Mess," I will put the timestamp and the link directly in my description of this video. Please go and watch it. I ramble on about this topic for a couple of minutes, so yeah, I think that would be more use to you than me just trying to condense it into 2 sentences here.
It's something that everyone has to deal with and figure out how to work around.
Our next question comes from a 23-year-old babe who says, I've been in a serious relationship with my boyfriend of 3 years. Parents from both families are involved. However, there are severe financial disparities between our backgrounds. I love him to bits, but my parents are unaware of this particular detail, which might be an uneasy topic for most of us, but in our culture it does hold some value, especially in regards to marriage. How should I go about this? I think there's only one straightforward way, which is to, no matter how uncomfortable it's going to be, discuss this with your parents. Have your partner present for this discussion, I think, as well. This is just one of those problems life will throw at you, and there's no way over it, there's no way under it, around it. You can only go through it, unless you think there's some sort of way where you can pull this off and hide this from your parents or the families. But at the same time, I do want to say, I don't want to sit here and say the obvious, like, whose fucking, like, business is it if it works with you two? If it works for you two, who gives a fuck? But I understand that these are important things in certain cultures. Whether it's outdated or not, that's a conversation for another day, but it's a reality in which you live. Like I said, there's only one way, and that's through it.
If it's something that you can't work around, then I'd say maybe the thing that would probably help you deal with it best is you and your partner have a chat about what you do want to say, what you don't want to say. Make sure neither of you overstep each other's boundaries in this conversation with each other's families, and go in there as a team. The best thing about marriage or having a partner is that you are part of a team and you support each other and you help each other. So use that to the best of your ability. I feel like financial talks, especially with families, are never necessarily easy ones or really fun ones to have. But if you go in as a team, it might take some of the pressure off. This is from a 35-year-old man babe. I like to write fantasy and science fiction, but have been having writer's block. Maybe you have some tips on how to get motivated or get in a creative space. Thanks, appreciate in advance.
I wish I had an answer for you. I don't, because this is something that I struggle with a lot. This is something that has brought me to tears and to multiple mentee over my life.
I can't speak on this much. I'm not a very creative person, but I feel like sometimes if you're really, really stuck, take all of the pressure off and go do something completely unrelated. Like I said, I don't do anything creative, but sometimes that helps me. It's just like a reset. With writing, as with many other creative things, I think your first draft or your first try doesn't have to be the best one. It just has to be there. It has to be on paper, and you can fix it and edit and go on from there. You can even delete it, but at least you wrote something that day. At least you made some progress. At least you figured out what you like or you don't like.
Not very knowledgeable in writing. Magazines are, I think, an underrated source of inspiration. Reading biographies or interviews from some of your favourite authors, I think, could be a great source of inspiration. Maybe looking on Pinterest or some online communities where people post fantasy or science fiction art. You can look at pieces of art and get inspired. You can create your own narrative around certain artworks. That's just what comes to the top of my head. I hope this was useful. This next one comes from a 19-year-old babe who says, feels like everyone around me is falling in love and finding their soulmates except for me. Also, that feels like such a big and impossible challenge. How the fuck am I supposed to pick out someone random and then be able to spend the rest of my life with them, trusting them, having children with them? What a huge responsibility. Not only that, but I feel like nobody even shows interest in me. Like when we go out, all of my friends will get their number asked now and then, but things like that just never happen to me. I feel like I'm always the one initiating every romantic interaction I have. I feel like something is wrong with me. I don't know why, but the last couple of weeks that really got into my head, and is kind of making me insecure about my looks and even my personality. Like, am I that unapproachable or unattractive? Why doesn't that ever happen to me? Right now my love life is non-existent and I really want to change that. I just want to fall in love and find my person. I would love for it to happen the authentic way, preferably no dating apps involved, or just stumbling across them somewhere. I do get outside my house often, and I have a very busy life with quite a lot of social interactions, so you would think I could come across enough people to make that happen, but come at me with that it will happen when you least expect it, or your time will come. Give me some tips on this, please. Have you ever felt this way? How should I do this? What should I change in my behaviour or looks or whatever? I apologise if you read all of that. I should have made it shorter. Kisses, XOXO.
I have felt like you before, and you're not alone in that.
Okay, so you've made it very clear that you don't want the very generic sort of advice that I think most people would give you, including myself, because it's true. It's very true. Let's break this down. Option number 1. You can change your appearance. You're over 18, I don't know what country you live in, but you are legally an adult where you can go and get fillers. You can work your bum off if in the gym. You can invest in lots of flattering clothing. You can do all that, go ahead, great. You will definitely get a lot of attention. Is it the attention that I think you want? No. That's option number 1. Option number 2, you can try and change your personality if you feel like that's the problem, which I'm not going to agree with at all, but if you think that's a problem here, you can fake it. You can base your personality off of, I don't know, characters in movies and books. You can base your character. You can mimic some of your friends that you say get this attention that you don't. Will it get you attention? Maybe. Is it gonna be the attention you want? No, that's not how you're gonna find your soulmate, because
It's not gonna get you what you want.
not gonna find your soulmate. You're gonna find someone that loves a version of you that you're putting on, if that's what you want. I don't think it is, but that's another option. I think something that will bring you a lot of peace is to accept that there is no set time in which you will find your best friend, your other half, your person. Some people, it takes them 5 divorces to find someone they're happy with.
Hopefully it's not the case.
It could be. I'm just being so real here. Some people are lucky enough to find their person on the first try. For some people it takes 10 years of dating, 2 years of dating. It might take you 6 months of dating. You don't know when it will come to you. So that's the 3 things that I can share with you. You've got 2 very brutal, very blunt options, and then the 3rd option is more to do with you and accepting that this is reality.
It doesn't take anything away from you or what kind of person you are that you don't get stopped or asked out or whatever.
I didn't get hit on really much.
Me neither. Second of all, the only thing I'm going to say is enjoy being single.
You have your whole life ahead of you to fall in love, and you cannot force it. Sometimes I think if you don't seek out love, I think it will end up being more authentic and natural, because I feel like if people are in this mentality of like, okay, now I want to date, every single person you come across, whether it's on dating apps or whether you ask for someone's number or this and that, you already have an intention where I think you will naturally already be in a headspace where you are going to try and force things to work, even when you're not realizing it, because you're looking for something and you want to find it, you want to make it work. If you're not looking for it and it comes to you naturally, it will also grow and progress naturally into something genuine and meaningful.
Needing a relationship, like, to feel whole, feel complete, is never going to give you what it wants. You'll more likely end up losing yourself in that relationship than anything else. A relationship, as I'm sure you can agree, should always be like, you are your own person, you are your whole self, as you are just enough as your one being, and a relationship should just be in addition to all of the happiness and the blessings that you have in your life. It should never be the main goal or the main thing. You yourself as your being are more than enough. Okay, 24-year-old babe. I had a situationship with this guy I met in 2019 for like 2 months in 2020, and I cannot for the life of me get over him. He's married now, we have no contact, but I think about him constantly and I just can't get over him. Any tips? I'm gonna be extremely straight with you. It has been quite a while. You were with him for like 2 months.
I mean this in the best way possible. I genuinely mean this in the best way possible. Please get a life, get out there, get a hobby.
Yeah,
please
just
go
do
and socialise.
anything.
This man surely could not have been that amazing. It's kind of crazy.
Maybe
and
you
I
didn't
love
even
you
get
for this, but that's crazy.
Maybe you didn't even get to figure stuff out about him that you actually realized you really, really hate. I feel like you still have this very perfect version of him, because in 2 months you can never really truly get to know someone. I personally feel like.
I think you're hung up over a fantasy, not reality.
I don't think over the real him.
Yeah, just keep yourself busy, babe.
Or
Not
some
even
fun.
that,
Yeah,
I
but like,
mean,
no.
Please get out there again. Please
And
spend
just
time with
some hobbies, do anything.
Get something, girl.
Yeah, babe.
I wish you all the best, babe, but do you know what? Clearly you have a lot of intense love to give. It needs an actual place to go where you will get it back. Okay, another 28-year-old babe. She says, I've had many longer datings with people but never had a partner, and it's not that I don't trust the process with finding someone, but also it's incredibly difficult, but maybe it's more like the feeling of loneliness, and sometimes, and I do have a great family and a lot of good friends, but it's the romantic love what I'm missing, and the feeling when you can share everything with someone and give love, since I'm such a lover girl. I'm also a lover girl. I absolutely get this, and
I feel like we've answered this through the other questions a little bit as well. To not like completely repeat everything we've said, it's just like the main point is like, from what you've explained, you're a lover girl. You are that is something about you, and you are your whole person on your own. You don't need a relationship, and like, you know that when that person comes, you have everything in the world to give them. But like we said, like finding it, and like what we said before, like trying to look for it and all of this and blah blah, it just, like, honestly, people usually find it when they let this feeling go and they're not looking. So maybe work on letting this feeling go, and it's not something you're missing. You are whole on your own. I wouldn't like just go with, that's such cliche advice, but just go with the flow, let it go, see what happens. And yeah, just you sound like you have a very good life, and just enjoy that side of things. What do you think? So it's actually getting really late, and we realized that like none of these can be done quickly, and we don't want to rush over any of your guys' like confessions or whatever we're calling them, because they're all very important and they cannot be answered simply or quickly. So I think my sister's gonna make another video finishing these questions.
Yeah, I just like my sister said, you guys took the time to submit these to me, and I would like to answer them all fully and take my time going through them. So I hope you're not mad at me. I haven't I'm not gonna leave anyone out. Yeah, I hope this very, very long, soft-spoken, rambling video was comforting to watch. There weren't many triggers in this video, but I hope it's just comfort. If you have this on as like background noise, or turn the volume down a bit, I'm not sure. Whatever works for you.
Maybe
I hope this video wasn't a disappointment. Sorry to interrupt. But yeah, thank you to my sister for helping me with this.
The one thing I wanted to say is like, maybe even just watching this video, like if you're going through something similar, like maybe some of the advice helped, or like just to talk through it. Yeah, in terms of advice, like I hope we helped. We kind of just gave our initial kind of thoughts and reactions off of what we were reading, and maybe it was good to get some new perspective or whatever we could have given. So hopefully we helped, and thank you guys for sending in the confessions and all of this.
This was really fun. I really didn't expect to get this many submissions. I thought at most I'd get like, I don't know, 10 maybe. So yeah, thank you again, and I will be back next week.
I want to do like 2 triggers.